Welcome to the Selectmen's meeting of Tuesday, June 4th, 2024. Mr. Canty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pursuant to modifications made to the open meeting law by the Legislature of the Commonwealth, this meeting is being conducted in a hybrid format. Members of the board are joining us in person here at the Great Hall at Town Hall. Members of the public may be joining us in person here at the Great Hall at Town Hall or via the Zoom webinar platform. The Zoom login information details are contained on the agenda that is posted on the town website. Members of the public that wish to observe this meeting may join us in person at Town Hall, may join us via the Zoom webinar details on the agenda, or may observe the meeting by tuning into Comcast Channel 9 or Verizon Channel 47. Mr. Chairman, I would at this time read the executive session language. The Select Board will hold an executive session pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Clause 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares. This would be in relation to collective bargaining, and I would make a motion that we enter into executive session at this time and return to the open session at approximately 6 p.m.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Mr. Canty. Excuse me. Second by David Golden. I get used to Golden. Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Blutzer?
Yes.
Mr. Golden?
Yes.
And the board will be returning at approximately 6 p.m. Thank you. We had to finish it up, and we did, so that was one good thing. So if you'll please join the board in the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start back on the meeting, we have a few words we'd like to say and have a moment of silence. So I'd like to start with Mr. Mahoney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to speak about a minute for an individual we lost last few days, and that was Dr. Malcolm McGregor. If you knew Malcolm, really, I can't imagine anyone, very few individuals in a community of 60,000 plus have donated selflessly literally thousands of hours of their own time over the last 50 to 60 years. Virtually his entire adult life has been spent, I think when he wasn't working professionally, but volunteering for the community of Plymouth. I have some highlights here. Started serving on the Conservation Commission in 1975, Planning Board in 85, did 4 years on the Board of Health. Obviously did 7 terms, which is 5 years apiece on the Planning Board, eventually chair, and just walked away from that a few years ago. 2009, he received the Massachusetts chapter of the American Planning Association, the Citizens Planner of the Year. I won't read off everything. Obviously, a fairly amount of significant accomplishments. First and foremost might be that he mapped and drafted Plymouth's first aquifer protection zoning bylaw. Conducted environmental modeling and sampling for Plymouth Plantation, adopted Plymouth's first wetlands bylaw, I know that, a decade or so ago, he started volunteering for the Wildlands Trust, and it was only supposed to be a gig of a few months, but it turned into roughly a decade. He became the trail guy down there, and if you knew Malcolm, just, I don't think I ever met anyone who said a bad word about him. Just a very kind, giving individual, and he's certainly a massive loss for this community.
Thank you. Mr. Canty?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The loss of Dr. McGregor is very tragic, and it also reminds us of the recent loss of former Representative Bill Delahunt, who died a couple of months ago. Congressman Delahunt, former congressman, served in the U.S. House of Representatives for 8 terms, serving this community faithfully. He put a lot of effort into reaching out to his constituents and being the representative that people needed him to be during that time. Prior to serving in the House of Representatives, he was a town councilor in Quincy for a period. He was also briefly in the House of Representatives here in Massachusetts. He was also a Plymouth resident from time to time. He could be seen around Plymouth, hanging out in our community and enjoying himself here. He was known as saying that every piece of significant legislation that he was able to pass on Capitol Hill was a result of reaching out not just to Democrats, he was a Democrat, but to Republicans as well, and working together in order to get things done. Obviously, Washington, as we've all seen in recent years, can be contentious and can be somewhat unproductive at times, but Congressman Delahunt knew how to get things done and how to work with people that he disagreed with to serve his community, and I think we could all learn something from his type of leadership, and he will be missed. So our condolences to his family and commemoration of his service to this community and the others that he served in. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. I just want to reach out to the town and the Zielinski family, who the dad had a bad medical emergency after picking up his 2 children last week. I believe it was Friday, and suffered a severe medical complication and has passed. And the community's rallied together with a GoFundMe, which I think is fantastic. We at work are doing certain things. People have been dropping off donations, and we're setting them aside and putting them in the account for the family. But we heard from the mom today, so I'm just going to read you what she has sent me. Thank you so much for reaching out. I am overwhelmed by the support of our community. In an age when we talk about how bad people are, we see the good ones come out in these times like this. The kids are home now. They were released from Children's in Boston and have, have some fractures, but both are non-surgical, thank God. Thank you so much for checking in. And that's from Mrs. Zielinski. So on behalf of this board and the town, I want to thank all the residents once again for coming together, and that's what we're about here in town. There's a lot of good people. So that being said, I'd like to have a moment of silence for all, and then we'll get on with our business. Okay, thank you. First order of business is public hearings, all annual alcohol restaurant license from CNS LLC, doing business as Selena, 170 Water Street, Daniel Casanelli, manager. In accordance with Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws as amended, notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held at Plymouth Town Hall, 26 Court Street on Tuesday, June 4th, 2024 at 6 p.m. to consider the application for an annual all-alcohol restaurant license, CNS LLC, doing business as Selena, 170 Water Street, Daniel Casanelli, manager. Description of the premises is as follows. 2 free-story standing restaurant containing 5,900 square feet, entry, host area, first floor, dining bar area, second floor, dining bar area, second floor deck, outside enclosed dining bar area, kitchen, and 2 bathroom, 5 points of entrance, egress. Anyone wishing to be heard on this matter should plan to attend this meeting. I now declare this meeting open. And you presenting for the article?
Yes.
Identify yourself for the record and make sure your green light's on, please.
Yep. My name is Daniel Casanelli. And we have recently acquired the old Waterfront Bar and Grill. And CNS is our entity, and Selena is going to be the restaurant name. We currently have 3 other liquor licenses in town, Salt Restaurant, Lena's Kitchen, and the Pillory Pub. And I am the manager, proposed manager for this new license.
Okay. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application? No one online, thank you. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? No one online? Jackie? Okay, I'll bring it back to the board and declare the hearing closed. Questions from the board or a motion? Go ahead, Mr. Blitzer.
Hey, Dan, I see your entertainment, you apply for entertainment license. Are you planning on doing outdoor entertainment or just inside? 'Cause I didn't see the outdoor entertainment on there.
Yeah, we haven't really even got there yet.
Okay.
We're still kind of talking about kind of what we wanted to do, but really just more mellow entertainment, if anything.
Yeah,
you know.
like acoustic or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if you do it, just come back just to make sure you're covered so there's no issues,
Absolutely.
you know, with neighbors or anything like that. So, and do you have to do much to the premises? You're going to be able to get open
Yeah, I
quickly?
mean, we're just doing some cosmetic things, so we'll be ready to go as soon as the license comes back if
Because
everything
it's an
works
important, it's an important space down there, and I'm glad you're going in there. Your food over at Salt is fantastic, and you're going to be a huge upgrade of what was in there, and I'm looking forward to you guys getting in there, so
Thank you,
I
appreciate it.
wish you well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Pleasure of the board.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Mahoney, second by Mr. Canty. Discussion? Mr. Golden?
Yes.
Mr. Blitzer?
Yes,
Mr. Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney? Yes. And myself, yes, unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very
Good
much,
luck.
gentlemen.
The second application is an alteration of premises for P and JV of South Plymouth doing business as Mamma Mia's Restaurant, holder of an annual all-alcohol restaurant license, 3 Village Green, North Suite 312, Salvatore Viscarello, manager. In accordance with Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws as amended, notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held at the Plymouth Town Hall, 26 Court Street on Tuesday, June 4th, 2024, at 6:05 p.m. to consider the application for an alteration of premises of P and JV of South Plymouth Incorporated, doing business as Mamma Mia's Restaurant, holder of an annual all-alcohol license, 3 Village Green North, Suite 312, Salvatore Viscarello, manager. Description of premises is as follows: 2,486 square feet of retail building with 3 entrances and exits, dining area, kitchen area of 840 square feet of outdoor patio area. Applicant seeks to add 540 square feet, making the total square footage of 3,026 feet. Anyone wishing to be heard on this matter should plan to attend this meeting. I now declare this hearing open. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition of this application? No one online. Is the applicant in the audience? Okay, does the board have any questions for the applicant? Okay, well,
Hi, my name's Tom Clancy. I'm Director of Operations for Viscarello Hospitality Group, representing them tonight.
welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Blitzer?
Hi, Tom, welcome. So you're expanding, just making the restaurant bigger?
Yeah, we went to, there was the cleanest dry cleaners.
Right.
It was right next door, and they moved across the to the new building in Pine Hill, so we took over that space.
So is there any change in your business plan, or is it just strictly all food?
I mean, we added 13 seats
Yeah.
and expanded the bar area a little bit,
Right,
and,
good,
you know, a couple extra tables, that type of thing.
Well, I commend you. When you went in that space years ago, there wasn't a lot going on up there, and this is a good thing, because it
It's definitely grown
shows,
in around us.
shows how that village has expanded and is becoming successful. I know that's, some people think it's great, some people don't, but my opinion is, I think it's very good. It's very good for the businesses, so, you know, I was always worried about the food trucks up there, but Michael tells me that a lot of business comes from those folks, and you guys are doing very well, so I commend you on your expansion, and you obviously you have 8 other restaurants, so you guys are very successful. But,
Thank you.
Anyway, but welcome.
Appreciate it, thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no more questions or comments, the wish of the board.
Make a motion to approve the alteration of premises?
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Canty, second by Mr. Blitzer. Discussion? Mr. Golden?
Yes.
Mr. Blitzer?
Yes.
Mr. Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney? And myself, yes. Good luck. Thank you.
very much.
Moving on to licenses and administrative notes. If there's no questions or recommendations, we'll take them as a group, or we can do whatever the board.
Mr. Chairman, I'd
Can I
like to...
just finish?
Sure.
Please.
Yep.
Whatever the wish of the board. Okay, Mr. Blitzer?
It's okay now? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll raise my hand next time. I'd like to take administrative notes 1 and 2 out of order.
Okay.
Before we vote.
All right. So you want to do those two separately?
Yes, I did those, because
Okay.
I want to speak on it, and there's somebody here that wants to speak too.
So when you say separate, do you mean like one separate and two, or both of them
Yeah,
together?
they're both outdoor
So
licenses.
both together you can speak to?
Yeah, one at a time, and then we can vote on both of them together, I
All
think.
right.
Well, we should vote, let's vote them separate. Vote them separate.
Vote them separate?
Yep,
All right, that's, your request is granted.
thank you.
All right, so as to Mr. Blitz's request, we'll take administrative note 1 first, please. The board will vote to approve an outdoor dining license for the Tasty located at 42 Court Street.
There's a,
That's fine.
Mr. Gates.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Ed Gates, and board members. I'm here on behalf of Mike and Nina Peters, who send their apologies for not being able to be here this evening. The principal reason they asked me to appear on their behalf is to thank the town manager's office, town council, and Mr. Blitzer for the courtesies extended to them shortly after the last meeting, so that they had an opportunity to discuss the importance of this parklet to the Tasty. So on their behalf, thank you very much for that.
And you can stay, and I can speak on what Mr. Gates is talking about. So when they came before us with the other outdoor dining licenses, I had some questions on hours of operation, and they had 2 places that I didn't think were open that many hours. I had the hours wrong, but at the time, I questioned on whether to give them 2 parking spaces for each business, because the parking spaces are so valuable to the downtown area. And I understand we have not just restaurants down there, but we have retail businesses down there that need those parking spaces for their folks that come in and shop. So when I brought the hours up, our building inspector, and I just want to say that the outdoor dining is now under the purview of the building department. It used to be under Lisa Johnson from licensing. Now it's under the building department. So, and Nick, he told me this, that he never gave notice to the businesses. So there was a little misstep, a little mix-up in communication. And Nick said it's on me. He took full blame of it, which I respect him. And I'm here apologizing to the businesses, especially Tasty, for not being able to come that night. to express how they felt about these spaces. So what happened was, one of the partners, it's a husband and wife team, the husband had expressed to Nick that they might not want him for Tasty because they had another plan with the alleyway next door. So at that point, it made my decision easier, because then I said, great, so we'll just give it to, to Honey Baby, the other business, because they don't need it. And then I had seen, I saw Mr. Peters the next day, and I thought everything was all set. In the meantime, they did not get the alleyway. The ABC wouldn't allow it because it was a separate premise from where the license was. So at that point, his wife, Nina Peters, wanted the parklet, but we had already voted not to give it to them, and she was a little bit upset. So we had a meeting in Town Hall. We worked everything out. Mr. Gates come in and very eloquently was a great mediator with us, and so we're bringing them back tonight. I'm apologizing again for the mix-up, and we're bringing them in tonight so we can, and I can express what they want, and the board hope it can vote how they feel. So they would like to have, if you don't mind me speaking for you, because I was in that meeting, they would like to have the parklets this year. The plan that they presented, you see the plan in front of you, and they've had that for the last few years. They've been doing it, so they want that same plan, and I'm in favor of doing that. So, and again, next year, we'll make sure everybody's here, everybody gets a fair hearing, and this mix-up never happens again. So, anyway, thank you.
Thank you, and if I could just add, I know that it was a concern of some of the board members how many hours the Tasty would be operating if it did have a parklet, and I have a sworn declaration attesting to them being open at least 30 hours a week. And if I may enter this into the record, I'm not sure how to do that here.
So is it 5? They're open 5 days?
Yes.
5, yeah, okay. And the Tasty 6? Was that?
5 days.
5, okay, all right, okay.
If no questions, then thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Does anyone else have any questions? No? Okay. What's the will of the board?
Make a motion to approve Administrative Note 1. Second.
Motion by Mr. Canty, second by Mr. Mahoney. Mr. Golden?
Yes.
Mr. Blutzer?
Yes.
Mr. Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
And myself, I abstain. 4 and 1 abstention.
So, if I may
Mr.
speak.
Blutzer?
Number
Sure.
2 is the food court. The food court, there's new owners taking over the food court. The current owner is still is involved until a license gets transferred, so they're open. And they came late to the game to get their outdoor dining app in. So while we were dealing with Tasty, I advised the building department to reach out to food court and invite them to put an application in if they wanted to, so we could have the DPW set up their spaces at the same time. And just for the record, we're waiving the fees are going to be the same as the other restaurants. The DPW is doing it this year. The town's incurring that. After this year, it's going to change. All the costs will be incurred by the businesses. So, with that being said, is anybody from food court here? Come on, right there. Thank you for coming. I know
Thank you.
you didn't know about this last time, so.
Yes. I'm Elona Williams. I'm the chef owner of Food Court. And just...
We have your plan.
we had, the same plan that John had before.
So it's the same as you submitted,
Yes,
so.
exactly the same
Okay.
setting.
And your hours, if you decided on,
It's going to be, right now it's 5 to 9, but it's going to be 4 to 10.
Yeah.
It's-
how many days?
And
How many-
I'm planning on 6 days a week.
Good, that's great. As I said to you before, the more businesses open in downtown, the better for the tourism.
Yeah.
we have, if anybody hasn't been down there, we have such a diverse restaurants, business down there. We have all different kinds of fairs, and that's going to be big time for the tourism. So
I mean, I'd like to have it 7 days, but with the staffing now, it's a little bit.
it's nice having a hands-on chef owner too. I know John was too. So
Yes,
yeah, great. So hopefully this outdoor dining will help your business
thank you.
to succeed. So
Thank you.
anyway, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Bring it back to the board.
Make a motion that we approve Administrative Note 2.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Canty, second by Mr. Golden. Discussion? Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Blitzer?
Yes.
Mr. Golden?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, going back now to the licenses.
Mr. Chairman, if there's no questions from any members of the board, I would make a motion that we approve the licenses as a group.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Canty, second by Mr. Blitzer. Discussion? Seeing none. Mr. Golden?
Yes.
Mr. Blitzer?
Yes.
Mr. Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
And myself, yes, unanimous. Administrative notes 3 through 13.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
could we separate item 11? As I was not a member of the board at that time, I would like to abstain.
Okay. So let's do 11 first.
I'd make a motion that we approve Administrative Note 11.
Second that.
Motion by Mr. Canty, second by Mr. Blitzer. Discussion? Mr. Mahoney? Yes. Mr. Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Blitzer?
Yes.
Myself, yes, and one abstention.
Correct.
Mr. Golden. That was 11. So now we're going back to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 13.
So moved. I will second moving the remaining administrative notes as a group.
Discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Golden.
Yes.
Mr. Blitzer?
Yes.
Mr. Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney? Yes. And myself, yes, unanimous on the remainder. Okay. Wastewater, groundwater discharge, CAC appointments. 6 vacancies, and the votes are anticipated. And for the record, Mr. Jesse has removed himself from the list of applicants. That being said, I'm going to turn it over to the Vice Chair, Mr. Canty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Longtime viewers may know, but applicants may not be longtime viewers, so I will recount the process that we're going to go through. Is every member of the that has applied that is present will have an opportunity to go up to the podium, or if they're over Zoom, to come onto Zoom and talk to us over there. They'll say a few words about themselves, and then there'll be an opportunity for members of the board to ask questions of the applicants. And then once we've done that through all of the applicants that are present with us tonight, then I will call for a vote. I will explain the voting procedure. We have 6 positions here and we have 13, I believe, remaining applicants. So there's a number of individuals here, and I anticipate we may have multiple rounds of voting, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, if we are joined by Janice Abel, if she is present. She is not present. That would bring us to the next prospective applicant, Joshua Bose. Is Joshua Bose present? Yes. Excellent. Please come to the microphone, introduce yourself, even though I kind of spoiled that already a bit for you. And you can say a few words about why you're interested, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Thank you very much. My name is Joshua Bose. I live at 57 Doten Road. By trade, I'm a professional engineer. I'm also on the Harbor Committee, so the reason for that is my love for the harbor. My family, 3 members of my family spend their summers on the harbor, earning somewhat of a living in and around the harbor. At 57 Doten Road, that's about 2 miles from the fields, the discharge fields, and I also have private well water, so I'm really very unbiased on this particular topic. my interest in being on the committee is to really help focus the discussion on the data that's available, on the resources that, the plant operator has, DEP has, and, I hate, it's a terrible cliche, but follow the science in trying to come up with some type of recommendations or conclusions on flow to the plant. I think that treatment plants are going to be that every town around here is best friend. I think there's a lot of mandates coming down from the state over the next, say, 20 to 30, 50 years. They're going to force treatment plants to be very key, play a key role in how we handle our wastewater. So that's sort of my reason for being here up at the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Bose. Any questions for Mr. Bose from any members of the board? If no one else, you stated you believed yourself to be unbiased on the opinion. So you do, just to be clear, you don't, as you stand here before us now, have an opinion as to whether it would be in the best interest of the community, as at this moment, to continue discharging to the harbor or to change the discharge process to be into the groundwater. Would that be correct?
Absolutely, yes.
And so if you were appointed to this position, as you said, you would listen to the science and the data and make a determination based on the results of your work rather than your opinions at this moment.
Correct. That's why I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. Those are the questions I had. Any other questions from any other members? All right.
Just real
Mr.
quick,
Bletzer?
it sounds like you live in the affected area. You also fish in another affected area. So I think you'd have probably some good information. So you definitely should be biased, I would think. I would hope so.
Unbiased or biased?
Unbiased.
Yes, of course.
I mean, sorry, biased. Unbiased, because you've kind of got both sides of it,
Exactly.
I would think. Thanks.
All right. Any other questions? Hearing and seeing none, thank you, Mr. Bose.
Thank you.
That brings us to the next prospective applicant, Mark Champagne. You're joined. Please, again, introduce yourself, a few words about why you're interested, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Mark Champagne. I work with, for the past 18 years, I've worked with septics, sewer, water, and drain, and I also have the Eel River right in my backyard. I have an 8-year-old son. I have another son coming. But we always go down to the river. We're always fishing, throwing rocks in the water. I also think that I work with sewer, and it's kind of against what pays my bills, but I've always thought that this is a good argument to stay with septics, seeing how the sewer goes to the treatment plant. I'm new to boards, so I don't really know how it works, and that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Champagne. Any questions from any members of the board for Mr. Champagne? All right, if no one else does. Mr. Champagne, do you at this moment have an opinion on whether it would be in the best interest of the community to continue discharging to the harbor, or whether it would be in the best interest of the community to change the discharge into the groundwater?
I would have to see more of the science or evidence to have more of an opinion about it. Honestly, dumping into the harbor, dumping into the groundwater, I believe that dumping into groundwater is the best way. I'm sorry, dumping into the ground is the best way for it to dissipate, but I don't know, I'm willing to have my mind changed.
So you believe that changing the discharge into the groundwater discharge is in the best interest, or you believe that continuing with the harbor is in the best interest?
Into the harbor is the best.
Dissipates
the best.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from any other members of the board? Hearing and seeing none, thank you, Mr. Champagne. That brings us to the next prospective applicant, that being Bill Doyle. Are we joined by Mr. Doyle? We are not. That brings us to the next prospective applicant, that being Martin Enos. Are we joined by Mr. Enos? We are. Mr. Enos, if you could once again take the podium, a few words about your interest in this position, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Yeah, my name is Martin Enos. I'm a longtime, forever resident in the town of Plymouth, 73 years next month. I'm also a former town employee, fire department for 32 years. I live right on the very edge of Russell Mill Pond. If I sleepwalk at night, I'll get wet. That's how close I am. So I grew up there, and I'm always interested in what's going on the pond, and which also happens to be the headwaters to Eel River. I do have educational degrees in biology, Bachelor of Science, Forestry Management from the University of Maine. I obviously have some experience with hydraulics, being a firefighter. I'm also a lot of experience as a builder with my family. And my concern is one, that we get this right as far as whatever the next step the town takes regarding the septic, Russell Mill Pond, and everything between it and Warren's Wells kind of acts like the canary in the coal mine. And if something goes wrong up there, it's going to show up on my doorstep first. So that's my interest.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Enos. Does anyone, any members of the board have any questions for the prospective applicant? If no one else does. Mr. Enos, do you presently have an opinion as to whether it would be in the best interest of the community to continue discharging the wastewater into the harbor, or whether it would be in the best interest of the community to change that and discharge into the groundwater?
I think the long-term solution to this is to take a hard look at what the city of Boston did with the MWRA, because they did continue to discharge into the harbor without damaging. In fact, they did improve the harbor environment. And given the fact that the town of Plymouth relies heavily on its aquifer, I think that any risk to that aquifer is unacceptable. And the ocean is a place that I'm very fond of as well. I've been a scuba diver for 52 years, so I not only know what's on it, I also know what's under it. And I've seen a lot of changes in my lifetime as far as pollution into the oceans of our country. But if I had to lean one way or the other, I would err on the side of not damaging our drinking water. Traveling across this country for many, many years, there are very few places in our country that have the kind of drinking water that we have, the Northwest being one and the Northeast being the other. And I see no acceptable reason for risking what we drink. So, if that answers your question.
It does. Thank you. Any other questions from any other members of the board for Mr. Enos? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That brings us to the next prospective applicant, that being Rose Forbes. We're joined by Ms. Forbes. Once again, please take the microphone, a few words about yourself, why you're interested in the position, and then, of course, we will open it up to questions. Thank you, Ms. Forbes.
Sure. Yeah, thank you very much, and good evening. Let's see. So I recently retired at the end of December. I worked for the Air Force for 30 years as an environmental engineer, and 25 of those years was on Joint Base Cape Cod, where, if anybody knows, there's a lot of contamination of the sole source drinking water for there. And I was responsible for cleaning up a lot of the contamination, a lot of pump and treat systems, and also had firsthand experience with a wastewater plume from the former wastewater treatment plant that impacted one of the ponds. And a lot of different technologies we used to improve that pond drastically, 2-element treatments, installation of a permeable reactive barrier, all the science that goes along with that. So I thought I could use or apply my experience working for the Air Force to the issue that's in front of us here with the wastewater treatment plant. And more so, my partner Paul and I have lived in Plymouth for, well, since 2000, not as long as Mr. Enos, but we very much enjoy the community. We kayak out in the harbor, we fish, we used to have a boat, but no longer the boat, but regardless, we still enjoy the area. We also own a brewery next to the wastewater treatment plant. I saw someone's head pop up when I said that. So we're very interested in some of the potential impacts And just by training, I'm an engineer and a chemical engineer, and I'm always interested in the science. And anyway, I'm just hoping to help. At the base, we had a huge community involvement program. So we were, constantly sharing information with thousands of people on the Upper Cape. And again, I'm hoping that experience can be useful here as well.
All right, thank you, Ms. Forbes. Does any member of the board have any questions for Ms. Forbes? If no one else does. Ms. Forbes, do you presently have an opinion as to whether it would be in the best interest of the community to continue discharging into the harbor, or whether it would be in the best interest of the community to change the discharge procedure into the groundwater?
I have a slight preference for discharge into the ocean, but a different alternative should be evaluated. I'm making my way through the 932-page report that Horsley and Witten prepared, and where they discussed various alternatives. I think there should be a few more alternatives added to that discussion, but I'll withhold that until some other time. I just have a lot of questions, but again, to answer your question, it's just a slight preference for ocean discharge because I've seen firsthand what happens when you contaminate a sole source drinking water aquifer.
Okay, so given your slight preference, during this process, if you were to receive data and information science that supported that the groundwater discharge was a safer option, could you see yourself voting in that direction, or would you find yourself unable to do so based on your present opinion?
No, I mean, engineers and scientists are all about the science, so if there was enough information suggesting groundwater discharge for the aquifer would be a better approach, yeah, I mean, that would be I would change my opinion.
Okay. Do we have any other questions from any other members of the board? Hearing and seeing none. Thank you, Ms. Forbes.
Thank you.
That brings us to the next prospective applicant, that being Mary Gatzlick. We're joined by Ms. Gatzlick. We are. Once again, please take the microphone, a few words about yourself, why you're interested in serving on this particular Citizens Advisory Committee, and then, of course, we will open it up to any questions that the board may have for you as the prospective applicant. Ms. Gatzlick.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. My name is Mary Gatzlick, and I live on Jordan Road. Our property butts up to the Eel River. I started my work career as a wastewater treatment plant lab technician in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, where I received my grade 7 wastewater treatment plant operator's license. It's currently inactive, but I still hold it. I actually am a former town employee. I was the first laboratory technician hired for the wastewater treatment plant when it was located on Water Street. So I worked there from 1986 to 1991, where I left that job and began working for Boston Edison, hired to be their wastewater treatment plant operator at their small 10,000 gallon a day plant. I have experience in reading and compiling the monthly reports for both a NIPDES permit and for a groundwater discharge permit. I have experience in the regulatory aspect of wastewater. Part of my job at the Pilgrim Station was a compliance and licensing engineer, so my specialties were hazardous waste and the wastewater treatment plant issues. So I feel that I bring a lot to the table to help figure out what's going on. The reason why, for me, I have no preference of where it can be discharged as long as the facts back up what is best for it.
Okay. Any questions from any members of the board for Ms. Gatzlick? If no one else, you incorporated an answer to my question, but nevertheless, I'm going to ask you to expand upon that. So do you presently have any opinion right now as to whether it would be in the best interest of the community to continue discharging into the harbor, or whether it would be in the best interest of the community to change the discharge method into the groundwater?
It's the best interest for the community to do what's right. Even if it means, like Rose had mentioned, relocating the wastewater treatment plant, that was an option in that report that was generated. I would go for whatever is the best. Right now, groundwater but as long as it's safe, it doesn't impact our drinking water aquifer.
Okay, and when you say what's best, how do you anticipate evaluating what would be best? What
That would
your
be based on
criteria?
the scientific data, research done, dye testing, looking at the levels of the phosphates in the water and all that, the flow, which way does the flow go, what's the impact to it.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from any other members of the board for Ms. Ganslick? Thank you, Ms. Ganslick.
Thank you.
That brings us to the next.
Point of order. Have the selectmen voted on the question that you're raising with these candidates?
So, first of all, Mr. Neville is not a member of the select board. You cannot rise to a point of order.
Well, it's a public meeting, isn't it?
It is a public meeting, but you.
Was there a predilection by the select board? They're asking you a question
Mm-hmm.
that if the select board has already decided which way they want to go, they're going to pick according to the answer you get.
That is inaccurate, Mr. Neville, but thank you for your comments, out of order as they may have been.
Mr. Chairman, and while you're at it, will you take that political sign and take it out of this room and take it out of the building, please? That's a political sign. It doesn't belong in here.
Mr. Bletzer, I appreciate that. I think it would probably be in our best interest
point of order.
if we just brought up Mr. Michael Goodman, the next prospective applicant.
My name is Michael Goodman. I live at 4 Russell Mills Road in Plymouth, obviously. I am on the pond. As a matter of fact, I own the pond. And just to back up a little bit, when I moved in there approximately 25 years ago, the Long Pond cranberry bogs up off of Long Pond Road were active and getting fed with nutrients, obviously fertilizers and stuff. The town has since purchased that land, town/state, and it's in conservation now. And when I first moved in there, the milfoil problem was extreme. Once they closed down the cranberry bogs, it improved dramatically until last year. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I have a feeling there's a lot of nutrients already being fed into the water from the wastewater plant. Like Marty said, it's the old canary in the coal mine. Because last year, for some reason, might be another reason, but my suspect is the sewer plant now, the weeds have come back with as bad as ever, just like rafts of weeds floated down the pond. Usually they used to start when it was better, the weeds would start coming like in August and September. They're already there this year, and they were there this time last year. So something's going on already. I'm not sure what, but that's my major interest. I don't really have a background in water treatment or anything. I'm a builder by trade, but I don't have specific background in that type of thing. Obviously, my interest is living in the pond and affecting the water, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Mr. Goodman. Any questions from any members of the board for Mr. Goodman? Hearing and seeing none, I do have my question. So, Mr. Goodman, do you presently, as you stand before us, have an opinion as to whether it would be in the best interest of the community to continue discharging in the harbor, or whether it would be in the best interest of the community to change the discharge method to being a groundwater discharge?
Well, the way the groundwater is currently being discharged, from what I've seen, what little firsthand evidence, so to speak, I've seen, I would think it would make it much worse unless they totally redid the groundwater. If they totally redo how they're treating the plant, how they're treating the groundwater now, might be fine. I'm not an engineer in that field. But from what I see now, something needs to be done.
So,
Because it's, in my mind, it's already affecting it with what little dumping they're doing now.
so do you, would I take your response to be that you believe it would be in the best interest of the community as you stand here right now to continue discharging in the harbor as the primary method?
Yes, unless they can prove to me, or, and again, I'm not a scientist, but if some of the more technical people can show to me that with upgrades, the plan or whatever, maybe it's possible to, clean it up where it is, but I don't really see that happening.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Goodman. Any other questions from any other members of the board? Hearing and seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Goodman. That brings us to the next prospective applicant, Robert Goslin. I apologize if I butchered your last name. Once again, a few comments about your interest in serving, and then we'll open it up for any questions.
All right, Bob Goslin. I live out on Saquish Beach full-time, and I'm also on a grant for oystering out here. So I'm directly affected by either situation, and I prefer to take the path that would be the least damaging to our environment and our businesses and our how we're looked at as a town, to be frank with you, because reputation is what it's all about. I don't have an education in that particular area. I do understand that, doing building and so on and so forth. I understand septic systems, as this gentleman over here did, and some sort of percolations, but I would go by the facts. If there were only two options, I would have to choose one of those. If there were other options, I might lean that way. That's what I can tell you.
Thank you, Mr. Goslin. Questions, Mr. Bletzer?
Yes, first question, Mr. Goslin, you list your address as 56 Depot Street in Duxbury.
That's a post office
Post
box.
office, that's, okay, good. Great. That's what I thought, because you live in Saquon, so you don't deliver up there. Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, it's no mail out there, as you know.
No, I get it. I just,
Yep, okay.
just had to hear it from you, that's all. Thank you.
All right. And any other questions from any other members of the board? If no one else does, I have mine. So do you presently have an opinion as to whether it would be in the best interest of the community to continue discharging into the harbor, or whether it would be in the best interest of the community to change the discharge method to being that of groundwater discharge?
I do not.
Okay. Any other questions from any other members of the board? Thank you, Mr. Goslin.
You're welcome.
That brings us to, well, the next listed applicant is Matthew Hoagland. Mr. Hoagland previously notified us that he could not attend and did send a letter in lieu of his attendance. So we have received that. I know I have read it. I assume my colleagues have as well. The next applicant is Todd Jesse, who, as the chair said, withdrew his application, so he will not be participating. That brings us to the next applicant, which is Glenn Sprague. Are we joined by Mr. Sprague? Please, once again, I may have butchered your name. I apologize if I did. It may be Sprague. I took a stab at it. Come to the podium. Please introduce yourself as to why you're interested in the position. We will then open it up to any questions that we may have for you, and we will take things from there. You have the floor.
Thank you. You did find the name. I'm a kind of follow the science kind of guy. I've recently retired, but I spent over 40 years in manufacturing engineering. I held a mass industrial wastewater license, level 2, for 10 years. And I just wanted to really follow the science on this. The one thing that I didn't see too much information on is whether there was any possibility of saltwater incursion by switching from discharging the sea and going to the groundwater. And that's about it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sprague. Do we have any questions from any members of the board for Mr. Sprague? If no one else does. Do you presently have an opinion as to whether it would be in the best interest of the community to continue discharging into the harbor, or whether it would be in the best interest of the community to discharge into the groundwater?
I think I need to look at more of the science and listen a little bit more. I have a slight leaning to the groundwater discharge.
Okay.
Just because I am worried about the saltwater incursion.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sprague. Any other questions? Hearing and seeing none, thank you again. That brings us to the next listed applicant, who is Garrett Tunnison. Mr. Tunnison also could not attend tonight, did send us a letter as well, in addition to what Mr. Hoagland had sent us, so we did receive that. And that brings us to the last prospective applicant, that being Mr. Hampton Watkins, who is coming to the podium. Once again, Mr. Watkins, it's kind of old hat, but if you get to the podium, you can introduce yourself, say why you're interested, and then we'll open it up for any questions. Mr. Watkins, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'm Hampton Watkins, 31 Cornishfield Road, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and members. I will say you are blessed with riches this evening. You are going to have a challenging choice from amongst the candidates because you do have quite an amazing selection of individuals. My interest is generally in the environment. I know that the world is not without risk. We see risk every day, and it's managing that risk that's important to all of us. I live here now, recently moved here full-time, been here as a summer resident for nearly 20 years, and before that as a summer visitor for another 20 years. Pretty familiar with the community and the woods and the ponds. Most recently, I've been doing pond testing, pond water quality testing for the past decade with David Gould and Kim Tower in Energy and Environment. I chair the Land Use and Acquisition Committee now. That was a recent change. And I'm particularly interested in the future because my grandkids live here. Yesterday I was babysitting my 9-month-old grandson, who I expect fully will someday be sitting where you are. And I don't think that'll be a challenge to anyone on the current board.
Better watch out.
But my background is very much focused on my deep background on chemistry, on earth and planetary sciences. I do have a doctorate from the Department of Earth, Atmospheric and Planetary Sciences at MIT. I have been involved in the environment for as long as I have been in Plymouth. I first came down here because one of my professors had a home on Great Herring Pond. He was an environmental scientist in civil and environmental engineering, and I took an aquatic chemistry course from him. That was some 50 years ago, I'm afraid to say. The interest that I have is making sure that whatever we do is enduring, sustainable, and lasting. To anticipate Mr. Canty's question, I will say that it's safe to drink water after it's been treated. We do that on, for example, the space station every day. Very little water, fresh water, is brought up. Most of the water is reprocessed on orbit. So that's proof that it can be done. Whether we dump the water into the harbor or back into the ground really depends on what's in the water, how it's been treated, and how thoroughly it is. And as I said earlier, there is nothing that is without risk in this world. So I think it's an issue of managing risk to all of us and to the future generations for whom we are responsible for the stewardship that we have of the community. With that, I'll go ahead and, are there any questions?
Let's see. Do we have any questions from any members of the board? Well, we have one. Mr. Watkins, do you presently, as you stand before us, have any opinion as to whether it would be in the best interest of the community to continue discharging into the harbor, whether it would be in the best interest of the community to change the groundwater or the wastewater discharge method into the groundwater supply?
On my PhD, I say, let's follow the science. Let's make sure that whatever we do is based on good science. And I will say that one thing that hasn't been mentioned is, along with risk, go costs. And whatever we do in the future, whatever changes we make, will incur cost, because change inevitably requires an expenditure of resource. So let's balance that into the equation as well. But for my personal part right now, no, let's look at what we are presented with when the time comes for the decision.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Any other questions? Hearing and seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So I will bring it back to the board, but first I will explain how we are going to be voting on this particular one, because there are a number of applicants. So I'm going to open it up to discussion in a minute, so any members of the board that wish to express who they're voting for, why they're voting for, their general philosophy will have an opportunity to do so before the vote is called, of course. But when you are asked to vote, you are going to be asked as a member of the board to vote for your 6 positions that you would like to see filled. I will go through each member of the board, and you will cast 6 votes at one time, and then we'll see how many people got how many votes, and we'll do that until we've filled all 6 vacancies on this position, no matter how many rounds that takes. And if it gets whittled down to a point where we're in a stalemate, maybe we'll have a runoff, but we'll cross that bridge if and when we come to it. So with that in mind, do we have any discussion from any members of the board at this time? I see Mr. Golden.
Thank you, Mr. Canty. I just want to thank all of the applicants. This is an incredibly difficult decision for us to make. There are tremendous qualifications among all of you. I'd like to see a balanced approach in the appointments. And again, just thank you all for putting your name out there.
And Mr. Bletzer.
I'd just like to echo what Mr. Watkins said about the qualifications of the folks that have applied for this. It's amazing. So every one of them's qualified. Plymouth, we're so lucky, the experience that we have, and the volunteerism, experience and knowledge of our residents that want to volunteer. So this is going to be these are hard choices to make. And I apologize if I get somebody wrong, okay? It's not, I really don't know any of these candidates, so anyway, I'm going to do my best, so thanks. And I'm looking for balance, too.
Mr. Mahoney.
I just have a quick question of the town manager before I say a couple of words. So, Derek, I'd just like to review our objective tonight. So, Mr. Canty just referenced that we're voting on 6 individuals. Is it possible that that number could be 7? Because I know that in the outline, I believe he was suggesting that the potential 7th member would be a member from this board that would chair subsequent the 7-member committee. So I just like a general review of the 6 versus potential 7, the duration of said committee, and it goes without saying that there'll be some level of staff support.
Before the town manager interjects, I will say, unless I'm overruled by the chair of the select board, we put on the agenda 6 vacancies, so I do not intend, as the chair of this segment, to increase that to 7 in violation of what I would view as a violation of the open meeting law.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
But Mr. Town Manager.
Sure, great, thank you for the question. So there was a document that was drafted by the DPW and presented by Mr. Coyle a few months back, I think early January time period. In that document, there was a number of recommendations by the Department of Public Works to formulate this committee. As stated, this is a recommended 7-member committee. 6 members at large with varying backgrounds, environmental backgrounds. It was also recommended that to have a neutral third party, as potentially a select board member, chair this committee. But that's, again, this is your committee. That's entirely up to you. If you decide to have one of yourselves chair this committee or appoint a 7th member at a later date. This committee is advisory only for the DEP and MEPA process. So as you all know, we are currently going through the EENF process. That's the expanded environmental notification form. So we would expect once those processes have been complete, this committee will be dissolved. They would have completed their work and made any recommendations back to the select board for future consideration as we finalize our work.
Mr. Mahoney, follow-up?
No, I don't have a follow-up question. Well, my follow-up statement was just reiterating what a couple of my colleagues already said, but there is an abundance of talent that got up to the microphone tonight and presented themselves. And the importance of the question that Mr. Canty was asking everyone is that we hope that we have an objective, balanced committee here and people that can, take in data and analyze it and hopefully long-term just we don't want it to be one geographical location versus the other on this agenda. We're going to do what's in the best long-term interest of the community.
Mr. Bletzer.
For the town manager, Derek, would that select board member be a voting member of this committee if they had to vote?
Yes, it would be, yes.
It would be, so it would be ties, okay. Because as John said, I would have no problem. We have 9 candidates for 7, if it was 7 spots, and I would have if it was legal to do it, I would second his motion to do that. But if we don't need it because we're going to have another, actually a 7th person on there, then we probably don't need that.
I know.
Thank you.
Any other discussion from any other members of the board? If no one else does. So I agree that we had a lot of qualified applicants, many with significant educational backgrounds or significant life experience that contributes to their interest in this particular, maybe geographic, maybe economic, maybe educational, but we have a lot of good individuals who are trying to put themselves forward and do something for their community, which is something that we really look forward to, and it's always good. Puts us in sometimes a difficult position to have to choose from amongst a crowd of talented applicants, but I think it's better than the alternative, which is obviously something we don't want. So I do thank everybody that applied, put the time in, and certainly those that came out or sent a letter in lieu of being able to come here tonight. The question that I was asking, despite at least one opinion to the contrary, was not to try and keep certain perspectives off this particular committee, but as Mr. Mahoney alluded to, I think this is something we're looking to have people come in, hear the information, and make a decision based on the data and the science that comes forward. So people having a preference for continuing the way things are or changing at this point that's a tough sell for me because you don't know the information yet. You're just about to start this process. I have in my mind the 6 that I'm going to vote for, at least in round 1. One of those did say that she had a slight preference for the harbor, but she was willing to look at the data and have her mind changed on that, and I didn't feel that was necessarily disqualifying. But I would prefer that we had people coming in here with a relatively open mind. No one in the world is completely unbiased. I understand that everybody has their own lived experiences and preferences, but we want to have people coming in, listening to the data that's presented, and making the best decision, not just for them, not just for their family or their individual needs, but for the 60-plus thousand people that live, work, and play in this community. So that's at least what I'm looking forward to having this particular Citizens Advisory Committee do, and I hope that is what this Citizens Advisory Committee does, and I look forward to receiving the recommendations of this group at the time that they've concluded their work. So, one last call for any discussion. All right, hearing and seeing none, we'll call for the vote. So, Mr. Bletzer, which candidates would you like to cast your 6 votes for?
How come I'm first?
Because you like to talk.
Why am I first? Is it alphabetical?
It is.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
This is the new guy right here, so.
Well-
Anyway, my candidates are, and I'll go alphabetical too.
Sounds good.
Joshua Bose, Mark Champagne, Bill Doyle, Martin Enos, Rose Forbes, and Michael Goodman. And if I had a seventh, I can't tell you who that would be, but.
Okay. One moment. All right, Mr. Golden, which candidates would you like to cast your 6 votes for?
I will cast my votes for Mr. Bose, Mr. Enos, Ms. Forbes, Mr. Goslin, Mr. Sprague, and Mr. Watkins.
All right, one moment. All right, Mr. Mahoney, which candidates would you like to cast your 6 votes for?
Mr. Bose, Mr. Enos, Ms. Forbes, Ms. Gatzlick, Mr. Tennyson, Mr. Watkins.
All right, one moment. Thank you. Mr. Quintal, which 6 candidates would you like to cast your 6 votes for?
Mr. Bowles, Mr. Doyle, Mr. Enos, Mrs. Forbes, Mr. Watkins, Mr. Goslin. One more, right?
Nope, that's 6.
Okay. I got so much right now. Yeah.
That's all right. One moment. All right. And I will cast my 6 votes for Joshua Bose, Bill Doyle, Rose Forbes, Matthew Hoagland, Garrett Tunnison, and Hampton Watkins. The voting in round 1 has concluded. Congratulations to Mr. Bose, Mr. Doyle, Mr. Enos, Ms. Forbes, and Mr. Watkins. Those 5 individuals have been appointed to the Wastewater Groundwater Discharge Citizens Advisory Committee. That brings us into the second round. Available applicants are Ms. Abel, Mr. Champagne, Ms. Gatzlick, Mr. Goodman, Mr. Goslin, Mr. Hoagland, Mr. Sprague, and Mr. Tunnison. Mr. Blitzer, which candidate would you like to cast your 1 vote for?
Champagne.
Thank you. Mr. Golden, which candidate would you like to cast your 1 vote for?
Mr. Sprague.
Mr. Mahoney, which candidate would you like to cast your 1 vote for?
Garrett Tunnison.
Mr. Quintal, which candidate would you like to cast your 1 vote for?
Champagne.
All right. And I will cast my vote for Mr. Tunnison. So at this point, we have 2 votes for Mr. Champagne, 2 votes for Mr. Tunnison, and 1 vote for Mr. Sprague. Do I have a motion to have a runoff between Mr. Champagne and Mr. Tunnison?
So moved.
It has been moved by Mr. Golden. It has been seconded by Mr. Mahoney. Any discussion about whether or not we should have a runoff? Didn't think so. So that brings us to the vote. Once again, Mr. Bletzer, your choices are between Mr. Champagne and Mr. Tunnison. Which candidate would you like to cast your vote for?
I'm voting Champagne.
Thank you. Mr. Golden?
Mr. Champagne.
Thank you. Mr. Mahoney?
Tunnison.
Thank you. Mr. Quintal?
Champagne.
Thank you. And myself, Mr. Tunnison. Mr. Champagne has acquired 3 votes this round. That is the necessary votes to be appointed. Congratulations to Mr. Champagne. Congratulations to all the other applicants that were appointed. And thanks once again to everyone for putting their names forward, applying, and subjecting themselves to questions and answers tonight. Thank you. Mr. Chair, the gavel is yours.
I believe it's public comment. You want to take a recess, 5-minute recess? Take a 5-minute recess. Time we got? 7:41. please come up to the microphone, identify yourself for the record, and make sure the green light is on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Please
For the
close the
record-
door, somebody. Okay.
My name is Rich Cirque. I'm a town meeting member from Precinct 2. Like everyone else, I'm chagrined by the sight of the former Burt's Restaurant, which is such an eyesore. And I have some ideas that I'd like to run by you.
Let's hear them.
I know that the town is currently in discussions with the owners, and I hope those discussions bear fruit. But if they don't, then as a backup strategy, the Select Board could place an agenda item on an upcoming meeting, with notice to the owners, of course, for the purpose of voting on whether or not to arrange for an inspection of the property. If an inspection is authorized, then a documentary and photographic record of the existing condition of the property could be assembled for the purpose of proving that the structure indeed constitutes a public nuisance. The Select Board could then place an agenda item on an upcoming meeting, again with notice to the owners, for the purpose of voting on whether or not they indeed deem the structure to be a public nuisance. If the Select Board so votes, then the Board could include in the fall annual town meeting warrant an article seeking to raise and appropriate a sum sufficient to demolish the structure. There are existing statutory provisions that authorize the selectmen to do so. I do not believe that a bylaw is needed for this purpose. If the town meeting so votes, then an RFP could issue for the purpose of hiring a contractor to demolish the structure. The cost of demolition would then, by virtue of state law, be added to the tax bill for the property. Those are my thoughts, and if that could be communicated to whoever is negotiating with the owners, it may help if they communicated that to the owners, because it might stiffen the spine of the people at the table, knowing that if there's no voluntary agreement reached, then the town could pull this card out of the deck and exercise it.
Anyone else wishing to speak under public comment? Welcome.
Good evening. Ginny Davis, Precinct 4. I'm reading this letter. You all received this letter. It's a letter of support for Bill Cohane for reappointment to the Community Preservation Committee. But I'm reading it so the public watching is aware of it. And there were 80 people that signed this letter. Another person just did. Dear Select Board members, Bill Cohane, Chair of the Community Preservation Committee, has done a remarkable job. For the last 20-plus years, Mr. Cohane has been the accomplished and energetic face of the CPC at town meeting. During this time, he has shepherded countless CPC articles through town meeting. He has earned many times over the respect of town meeting members for his institutional knowledge of the Community Preservation Act and for his professionalism in presenting funding requests. Our CPC projects are the envy of any town. The Plymouth Center for the Arts, the Spire Center, Town Hall, Hedges Pond Recreation Area, the rail trail from North Plymouth to Nelson Park, Stevens Field, affordable housing on State Road in Manamet, homes built or renovated by partnering with Habitat for Humanity, and the handicapped accessible units at the Oak Street School, now under progress. For the successful Center Hill Preserve project, not only did the CPC negotiate the agreement with the Diabetes Foundation, but the CPC also wrote the grants which resulted in over $3 million in state and federal money to help fund the acquisition. Bill is a lifelong resident of Plymouth. He has the connections and the skills to work with residents on their land contributions to conservation. This often takes years of careful follow-up, negotiations, and fostering of intent. He has worked tirelessly with Ryland Trust. Few people in Plymouth are as adept at land preservation as Bill. Hundreds of acres of land have been preserved. With a property tax surcharge of only 1.5%, Bill has made hiking and recreation a gift in perpetuity to Plymouth residents. Who else but Bill Cohane has the skills, the knowledge, and the determination to lead such projects? Bill was there at the start to bring the Community Preservation Act into Plymouth some 22 years ago. His diligence and outstanding work as chairman have been amazing to witness. We have all benefited so much by having Bill's leadership at the CPC. And I would just like to add my own comments to this letter that was signed by more than 80 people, that Bill does this out of his love for Plymouth. It is not driven by his ego. It is driven by his passion for Plymouth. And I believe that with my heart and soul. And so thank you, and please give this some consideration in your appointments. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak under public comment, please come up. Identify yourself for the record.
Good evening. My name is Pat Adelman. I'm the chair of Precinct 12, and I'm here to represent my fellow precinct members in their concerns expressed at our caucus meeting last night. The traffic on Halfway Pond Road and Long Pond Road is unacceptable. It is hazardous for emergency vehicles and school buses, as well as the residents traveling every day on these roads. Precinct 12 requests the expedition of installing the traffic signals at the intersection of Long Pond Road and Halfway Pond Roads. This mitigation for the increase of traffic due to the A.D. Makepeace development of Breadbrook is long overdue. Also overdue is the reduction of the speed limit, which was approved by a fall town meeting article in 2022. It is imperative for the safety of the neighbors that the necessary steps to receive approval from the Mass Department of Transportation be given priority. Another concern is that the speed limit that now is in place is not being enforced. Last Saturday, a serious accident on Route 3 caused an enormous backup on Long Pond Road from motorists trying to bypass Route 3. The Plymouth South graduation and the Best Buddies bike ride all contributed to the most hazardous conditions on Long Pond Road. It was a perfect storm. No room for emergency vehicles. Some things are unavoidable. Let's make our roads safe in normal conditions so that we are better prepared for the perfect storm. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Steve Lyden, Vice Chair of Precinct 17. The intersection of Halfway Pond Road and Long Pond Road has been tied up because of the litigation with taking the property and doing easements. From what I understand, I talked to Dan Gorsica at Redbrook, and he said that something is in the process to be done. It should be start working on it this year. They have to get permission from, not permission, but they have to get a schedule for Eversource to remove the poles and also, you know, do the land taking or the easements they have to get. That was put off. Why, I don't know, but something's going to happen with that soon. Traffic on Halfway Pond Road is horrible. Even with traffic lights, it's not going to correct the situation. The only thing it's going to do is making coming out of Halfway Pond Road or coming into Halfway Pond Road safer, because you're going to have the lights and people are going to have to stop. But traffic is what it is. I mean, traffic everywhere in this town is bad. So, and unless you want to take a lot of people's land on Long Pond Road and Halfway Pond Road to make it 2 lanes, which I know the neighbors and the residents are not going to like or approve, we're just going to have to deal the best we can with what we have. Thank you.
Good evening, Mark Withington, Precinct 15. I just want to echo Ginny's words in support of Bill Cohen. I understand that you'll be reappointing this month. I understand also you're not doing it tonight. So on the May 11th of 2002, the town adopted the Community Preservation Act that provided monies for the town to preserve open space, historic preservation, and community housing. At my last check, the CPC has preserved more than 2,000 acres of conservation and recreation land, created more than 150 units of affordable housing, and preserved a landmark in town, including the building we're in right now, the National Pilgrim Memorial Meeting House, Plymouth Center for the Arts, Spire Center, as well as a lot of the other ones that Jenny's already mentioned. So Bill has been instrumental in all of that from the beginning, and I strongly encourage you all to reappoint Bill this month. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak under public comment? You have one online? Okay. Mr. Bell, can you hear us? Mr. Bell?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Anyways, I just wanted to echo what Pat Adelman said from Precinct 12. I'm Dan Bell, residing in 9 Stetson Court, a member of Precinct 12. This isn't really a situation that I see as being Red Brook needing to come forward and come up with the money to do this. This is a town issue, and then they need to go and recover it from Red Brook. I know that they had promised some money to get this done, but that's the back end. It needs to get done, and the town is on the hook for this. It's just not a safe situation at this point. And I know the warrant is closing very soon. If anything needs to be done as far as easements or taking land, it needs to get moving forward. We missed this town meeting. You're going to be looking at bumping it down the road again. That's my comments. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Anyone else online? Jackie? No? Thank you.
Ginny Davis, Precinct 4 rep. Just a question. I looked down at administrative notes, and number 7, the board will authorize the acceptance and expenditure of a grant in the updated amount of $10 million. Can you speak to that? Are you going to speak to it as the town manager?
Yeah, I can. That's the NOAA grant. I believe it's for Jenny Pond dredging.
Oh, okay. So you'll speak on it.
Yeah, as soon as we have our communications coordinator on board, you'll be seeing a lot more good information,
okay.
Press releases, and things of that nature.
Thank you. Okay.
We go with public comment? Okay. Town manager report, Mr. Brandisi.
Okay, so it's that time of year, as you all know. The crossover has been closed for some time now because of piping plovers. I think last I reported that there were also piping plovers found on Whitehorse Beach by the brook. This past week, they found a second nest of piping plovers as well on Whitehorse Beach. So it sounds like they're starting to grow and volume down there. So that's new. This is the second year we've had the piping plovers at White Horse Beach. So we will continue to adhere to our DEP permit and protect those birds. It will shut down parts of the beach, especially around the 4th of July period. The Department of Energy and the Environment will be working with the police department to ensure that the plovers are protected and the public is protected, especially during the July 3rd event. So more to come on that. As far as an update on Stevens Field, so things continue to move along well down in Stevens Field. This week they will be pouring the concrete slab for the concession stand. Playgrounds will be complete. There have been some reports of folks using the playground prior to its completion. We would encourage folks not to do that. It hasn't been completed yet, but we're expecting this week for it to be completed. Asphalt will be down in the next week or so as well. We are looking to do a soft opening in mid-July. I know we were talking around the 4th of July, but we're going to probably push that back a couple of weeks. So again, looking to do a soft opening in Stevensfield, probably about 4 or 5 weeks out. Just a report from Inspectional Services. So the 10th edition of the building code has been adopted by the state. Now, this is important for folks that are listening, especially developers or folks that want to do updates or additions to their home, because once this new 10th edition goes into effect, it's also going to have an effect on the stretch code. So the stretch code is the new energy code that the state adopted, which has significant requirements for energy efficiency. So that new stretch code will be in effect come January 1st, so about 7 months out. So folks need to be aware of that because it's going to have a significant effect on how we do construction here in town. As far as public works updates, Allerton Street continues to move forward. So the sidewalks work has started. Probably be there a couple more weeks, and then they'll finish up with the milling and paving. The Manament Point Road water work is continuing to move forward. We've had a number of problems. We've had some of our service lines have been hit, and we've had to shut down water main on numerous occasions over there. So trying to work very closely with the contractor to try to prevent those mishaps so that we don't have to shut down the water main. But once school is out, we hope to complete the service connection to the school on Manament Point Road, and then that project will wrap up probably in the next, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks. Brick Road Bridge continues to move forward as well. That should be completed in the next couple of weeks. And then as far as the conversation around Halfway Pond and Long Pond Road, so we talked about in the past that part of the issue was that the abutters weren't giving us a right of way, and we did talk to them about taking it through town meeting by possession. But I'm happy to report that 3 out of the 4 abutters have agreed in writing. The 4th abutter has agreed verbally, so we just have to get that in writing. So we are expecting this fall to do some tree clearing, some road widening, adding some additional lanes. If things go extremely well, there may be an opportunity that we have the signal equipment up either late winter, early spring. Now, those timelines are the DPW director's timelines. We all know that this is 80 Makepeace. It's their project, so we got to work with them to make sure that they can hit those timelines. So, again, that's our hope, given the fact that we feel very confident that the abutters have now committed to working with us. So moving on to the planning and development team. So 4 of our staff members, this is a great story, as well as some members of the Affordable Housing Trust will be volunteering for a Habitat for Humanity this coming Friday. So thank you to those individuals who are committing their time and their energy towards Habitat for Humanity. And then I did want to announce that the Plymouth Master Planning Kickoff Meeting begins Thursday, June 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. at Plymouth South Middle. I had the opportunity to go to Sawyer's Reach last week and do a presentation, and they were very interested in being a part of this process as well. So our hope is that we can go around to a lot of these different public venues to have these conversations to try to gain invaluable input from the community regarding our master planning process. So again, I'll just announce it Thursday, June 20th at 6 to 8 p.m., Plymouth South Middle and the cafeteria will be the kickoff to the plaster manning process. And then for the fire department, so on Station 5, that project is moving forward. Most recently, the firefighters and EMS personnel have moved to the trailer behind the station. Why is that important? Because the DPW is going to have to place a sign out front of the building alerting the public to call 911 if they need assistance. Because if the public stops by the station and rings a bell, no one will be there to answer it. So we need folks to call 911, not go to Station 5 seeking assistance. So it's important for folks to know. And then we hope to do the punch list items over at Station 2. We're hoping to have a ribbon cutting ceremony sometime in late July, early August on that project. So, between that project and Station 5, that we would expect in the next 6 months to have 2 ribbon cutting ceremonies for those 2 fire departments. And then lastly, the police department. The PD has a new comfort dog named Sasha. So we have 3 comfort dogs now for the PD. Those 3 comfort dogs are assigned to various schools. Our school resource officers care for those comfort dogs, and they are very successful. I was joking, I was at drill this past weekend, and now the base has a comfort dog. And it's amazing the effect comfort dogs have in a room. So we'll have briefings with commanders, and the comfort dog will run, it's a golden retriever, and everybody gets real excited and they pet the dog. So I can see how this effect will have a positive effect in the classroom. So kudos to the chief for bringing on 3 new comfort dogs for us, various schools. And then lastly, as you know, the chief is advancing a number of really great and new initiatives. One of the initiatives he's talked about is this community connection team, and he has assigned 7 police officers to attend every one of the steering committee meetings. And so their job is to attend the steering committee meetings, be the face of local government, help them work through some of their neighborhood problems, and report any information back to Town Hall, back to the police department, fire station. So this is kind of like a spin on the old neighborhood watch groups and sending police officers there. So we're really excited about that. The chief, as you know, is really focused on community policing, and this is just one opportunity that we're going to have to interface with the community on a regular basis. So pending any questions, that's all I have this evening.
Mr. Blitzer?
Derek, just to be clear, so everybody knows, those dogs have all been donated, right, as well as their training?
They have been.
Didn't cost the taxpayers anything?
Yeah, so one was recently donated by one of the local car dealerships. This last one we received, the police department had written a grant for it, and so, again, no cost to the taxpayer.
Excellent. So they continue to come up with new innovative ways to police. I like that community policing, and the mental health person that rides with them on all the shifts now has been recognized across the country as
That's right.
As a great initiative. So anyway, kudos to Chief Flynn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the town manager? I just have a few, Mr. Brandisi. Before the town rolls out their new building codes, I think they should come in and do a presentation so the people that will be applying will be blaming us for it, okay? No,
I think that's a great idea.
But, so everybody knows what's coming and why, and, what the costs are, and, because I'm interested myself in that.
Sure.
The second thing was, we brought this up a while ago, shops. They used to take them at Central Station, and then they stopped, and then they were directing us to somewhere in Plymouth, but you have to call first, and they don't take them all the time, so, and I know it was expensive, so has there been any thought, or if you don't have to answer it now, but run it by the chief again, that, I don't want to let it go. I think it's very important.
I can answer that. So the fire chief and the Commissioner of Health and Human Services have had multiple conversations. They are trying to roll out a comprehensive program. That's a year-long program. So once that's complete, we do plan on reporting back to the board and doing a presentation.
Okay. And then the last thing, when the schools were here, when the schools were in, I think it was our joint meeting, we talked a lot about transportation and how it was a budget buster, and we planned on working together and go, or at least my recommendation was go to the state house or whatever we need to do. I haven't heard anything back since we had that one meeting, and I'm curious to see if they're still interested in partnering with the town for support and actually going there or doing what we need to do.
Sure.
I haven't heard back from them. I don't want them to say that, they came here, they said it, and,
Right.
we didn't do nothing. We walked the walk, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep. No, we certainly
Okay.
can follow up on that.
All right. Mr. Canty.
So I know that the chair of the school committee has reached out and is looking to collaborate with us. So I look forward to bringing those topics that we talked about up in those
So-
types of meetings as well.
Okay, but I just, it was done in public, and...
Oh, yes,
And I
yes.
think it is a budget buster, and I understand it a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
But I think we need to not just look at it at when we, budget things. We should be trying to correct that for the better of all.
Right, and one of the things we talked about was trying to work together with perhaps other communities that maybe want to buy bus fleets, stuff like that.
Exactly, or
Right.
see what other people around the state are doing.
Correct,
Right,
correct.
exactly.
Right.
So would you like to be the designee to reach out to the chairman?
I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, and we can schedule.
Yes, I'd be
All
happy
right.
to do that. Thank you.
We'll cross that one right off, Mr. Brandisi.
I like it.
All righty. Anyone else? I just have something, how about new business? Anybody have new business? Okay. Letters? Old business? Mr. Canty?
I had recently brought up, as part of our new legislative initiative, the idea of working on that nuisance bylaw further, so I took a first pass on it, did send it over to the town manager over the weekend. Based on my recollection of what the feedback was, for lack of a better term, at the town caucuses last cycle, that it was before the town meeting back in October. And I think, getting rid of the stuff about vegetation, expanding the time frame a little bit to give people more time, citing, they had an appeals process, but they didn't know about it. I think that would make it easier. I think that's, in my opinion, a more elegant solution than what was suggested at public comment, because it's not, even though Burt's gets a lot of flack, it's not the only derelict property in the community, and it will not be the only derelict property in the community. And that one would give us an opportunity to respond to more than just one particular thing, and to be able to shift the burden onto the property owner that's not doing their job. Because I know, like, for example, I was looking for a house 8 years ago, and I looked at a house on South Street. Next door was an abandoned house, and still abandoned. And I said, that's a fire hazard for those houses that are next to it that are right on top of it. So, and that's just one other example besides Burt's. So I think it's something that, this nuisance bylaw, if we could get a better, an easier, a more palatable, I'll say, version of it passed at town meeting, it would serve us well. So hopefully we could put that on an agenda, like sometime later in June, if possible.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I just, I'm very interested in, taking down the buildings, because I live in North Plymouth, and we have a big hole, and we'll leave it at that. I wasn't here for that, but, talk is cheap, and we all heard it, but we have a fence, and for a long time, there was some offensive things, I thought, on that fence.
Yeah.
But it's still a big hole, so I will be very cautious on anything that I vote on for just going in and, it has to be a mutual agreement, or we'll have what we have in that part of town, which is almost as bad as what was there before the hole. So
Yes, agreed.
that's all. And I'd like to take 1 second before we take a motion to adjourn to thank our public safety staff again for all that they do naturally, but what they went through last Friday in with the Zielinski family and all the things that they see and hear. Those jobs have changed 100% of what they used to be. And the training, we have to stand behind our people and our men and women, and we have to say thank you, because a lot of them go home and it's tough. And, I can't say I understand it, because I don't do it, but I just want to thank them all for what they do, and the whole town appreciates them. So on that note, motion to adjourn.
Make a move.
Moved. Second?
Second.
All right. Everybody? Unanimous. Thank you.